about the agenda today. The usual code status, talk about .NET Foundation, talk about GitHub. Well, this is done. This is not done. Some demos, some social thing, Twitter, interesting tweets from the week that we might mention, and that's it. So, Benedek, are we waiting for you or not? I don't know. So let's do the status.
I can see your screen.
You can?
Yes, it was loaded immediately.
Okay, great. Sipke fixing the same module. Oh no, the audit tray this time. Okay, interesting. This is a pull request fixing string extension race conditions. This is another pull request improving the exception message if there is an issue while executing a SQL statement in the schema builder. This is another pull request which will add a preview content permission. Okay, so you can preview content items only if you have this permission explicitly. This is,
by the way, is the preview content permission implied by edit content?
No. Well, let me check. Well, it should, yeah.
It should. Yeah.
It should, yes, I agree. Permissions. Implied by edit and publish. So it is. Who made that?
Great.
Because it's not obvious, actually. Baruch, IBM Labs, Qt1. You will see lots of pull requests from Qt1. We have denied one or two of them, I think, but pulled some of them. Pretty active, new member. Is Qt1 in the meeting right now? Maybe not. No. So yeah, this then dependencies come first instead of last. No, blah blah blah. Yes. Yeah. This was based on the recommendation from a work item, and Zoltan took care of it. Add email activity, reply to pull request. Reply to in the email activity. On 1.8x, another pull request from Daniel Dabrowski, the same one, to fix the name routes. So it's in 1.8x. Bertrand, fixed the CSS issue in the features list, which were not collapsing, but colliding. This then is Sipke started his week. Yes, we have to talk about it. Element indexing, but there has been some changes, I assume. So it's all about how layout part supports indexing and the summary shape. Yeah, email import export. This is a fix on the change about the cache service, which we changed to be strongly typed, but strongly typing it is breaking something with value types. So it's still strongly typed, so the implementation knows the type it has to serialize and load, but it will return an object so that it can return value types and nulls also, even for value types. But the work item is still open because there is a change suggestion which might fix everything.
Yeah, because this implementation breaks usage when you declare your variables with the var keyword. Because you won't have a type, so it kind of defeats the purpose of a generic get from the outside.
I don't agree, and I will explain why I don't agree. Before the two changes we applied on this, we had object and object. Agree? It was object get string key. There was no T at all. So it was non-typed at all. Then with the changed, we did a T get T. So it was typed inbound and outbound. We we know what we are looking for, and you return the type we are looking for. Okay, it was really strongly typed. And now, with the change of the change, it's object get t. So compared to before the first version, you are explicitly telling which type you want to deserialize. So the implementation knows how to deserialize the type and can adjust based on the type. And it still returns an object. So it's still better. So the var argument is the same as before the two changes.
Yeah, sorry. Is there a change in iCache service? Because I actually meant that. Because iCache storage provider is just for the storage implementation.
Okay.
But what we actually use is iCache service.
iCache service is the same object get t. What was it before the two changes? I think it was also object get and.
Yeah, but it was returning t.
It was returning t.
The extension method was, it's actually
yes.
just before me.
Yes, so this one. And that's what also is suggested on the bug, which is still open, that we can change the extension to return t, because we have a func here. So there is a suggestion which will fix, which will make it better. We'll look at the bug, but the suggestion that Jeff made should work. Look at the bug, you will see. Fixing compilation, yes, because when I pushed that, it was not working, so I fixed it. Simplifying summary shape for layout parts. So the question is, how has it been done? So Sipke, are you rendering the layout part now to get the summary?
Yeah, exactly. So currently the layout part is being rendered, and so we get the HTML, and from that we extract the.
Okay, let me explain the issues and the solutions that we've discussed about and how you did that, because people will have opinions, I'm sure. So body part has some advantage that it also defines the content for the summary. So if you're on the summary of a content item, you can safely go into the body part and extract like the first 200 charts from that. Okay, layout part, when it was first introduced, didn't have that. Meaning there is no such a summary or abstract of a layout part. And Sipke tried to implement it by adding some custom methods in the driver, or what was it that? Yes, like extracting all the text from
their own driver, and then they would have a chance, similar to the way indexing works currently. Every element driver would have a chance to add its contents to some sort of document builder, like that, which basically is a collection of strings, and then the invoking code, the layout part driver would then, for the summary shape, would then take this entire string and then take an excerpt and create an abstract out of that. Yeah, which is more complex than needs to be. Sebastian suggested, why don't you just render the layout shape into HTML, and then, like we do with the body part, you extract the excerpt from that. Yeah.
Because actually the body part contains HTML or Markdown or whatever. So the idea was that because this is what we were doing in the body part, getting the HTML of the body part, and a body part could have tables and images and everything like the layout part. It was just based on HTML and not based on drag and drop. The idea is, and when Sipke says rendering the layout part, it means just generating the HTML from all the elements, because they just do that, and extract the HTML from the layout part, and from the HTML we can define a summary. So we have a summary shape now from the layout part, which will render in memory the HTML and extract the text like in the body part, in the same technique as the body part.
Correct. Should we do the same for indexing? I think you mentioned we should do the same for that.
And we could do the same for indexing. So we don't have a specific driver method for indexing in the elements. We can just say, give me your HTML, like for the body part, and we can extract the text from the HTML, like we do for the body part. Exactly the same.
Okay.
So this fixes everything. This fixing core recipes, yeah, and Sipke worked on fixing the recipes, and this is weird, but
yeah, the issue is that if we change the body part and add the layout part instead, then and for that we also had to update the commands, the page create command, which relies on the body part being there because it generates a default homepage text. But when that command is executed from the core recipe, there is no body part attached to the page anymore, because we also updated the migrations to not add the body part to the page type. So that's why the recipe has to attach the body part for just the core recipe, because the core recipe, unless we also want to enable layouts for when executing the core recipe, then it's fine. But I don't think we want that. I think the core recipe should remain basic and layouts shouldn't be enabled. But that's my opinion, and that's why you see the body part attached, so that it still works.
I don't know. Maybe the core recipe should not have. Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. That's weird.
Are you not sure why we need to add the body part? Like
yes, that? To the page. What? Maybe we don't need the page in the core.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, we do need a home page, don't we? Otherwise, the first thing you would see is a page not found error.
Yeah, core is specific. It's very special, so I don't even. Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah. Let's talk about it later. We'll see if we have time. We have so many things to talk about today.
Okay.
Fixing outcome labels. Yes, and I don't agree with this change either. I know exactly. So we need to talk about it offline. But I don't agree with the change. You fixed it, I agree, but you fixed the wrong fix.
Yeah, I wasn't sure because the pull request seemed to indicate that this change was fine, although it broke other views, yep. So I fixed those views. But if the initial fix isn't good, then we can refactor that.
Because the first fix didn't change these files, the branch and exclusive branch stuff, so I didn't see the impact. So the fix actually was not complete. And then you're trying to go in the same direction as the fix, which is good, but not your mistake. But yeah, we can talk about it offline. Everyone doesn't need to know the details. Daniel is touching TinyMC. I hope for the best.
Yeah, it's much better now. It's so much easier to work on contents. It's actually nice now, the tiny MC editor.
Is there any way to see the full commit message?
Nope.
Like with line breaks in it?
Remove PNG image from toolbar buttons in Media Picker and Media Library plugin and replaced with the vector icon. Wow, to harmonize with other toolbar buttons. Fix styling of menu items and enable menu bar and status bar. Improve toolbar button ordering. Enabled more features. Added styling and pre-code elements in editor. Cleaned up JavaScript formatting. I'm just building it to see how it looks like. Remove iDependency from Azure Blob Shell Settings Manager. So you just a note, Daniel. The first line should be small, and then you can have as much text as you want on the other lines. Like you can have a blank line and then the comment on the commit. But the first line should be small to fit somewhere like this. And if you do a new commit, it will remind you if you type something too big. See? No, too big, you should not do that. This should go there. so we can see the nice history. And then if you want details on the commit, we can see commit. And fortunately for you, you are not working with Linus Torvald. Otherwise, he will tell bad words about it. He hates that.
Linux, you say?
Yeah, Linus. Yeah.
Oh, Linux.
Linus. And that's why he doesn't use GitHub, because GitHub doesn't prevent that.
Wow. He is an opinionated man, this Linus. But I got it. I'll try to adhere to that.
So I won't insult you. I just reminding you that you should do it this way. You see, like this. Like Sipke.
So there should be like a blank line between the first line and the rest of it? Okay.
Correct.
I got the same speed, that's why
I got it a while ago, yes. So then he doesn't do the mistake anymore. So I dependency Azure Blob to prevent them from being registered as part of the default. Okay, I trust you. And you also move this.
Yeah, I noticed there was an issue. I deployed a site to Azure websites, and I enabled Azure Media Blob storage on websites, and it seemed because that has a dependency on the default feature of the Azure module, then that also loads other stuff that should only be loaded on cloud services.
Okay. So you move this one in framework. And actually, then you need to do another change. If you do that, you need to use the implementation from Redis, which has the same thing, but better, and share the same reference, if you will.
But are we talking about the same thing? This is just the machine name provider.
Let me. Yes, but yes and yes. Yes and no. Yes and yes. Let me show you, and I understand the question, but I think we can still merge them. Where is that? Oh, message bus, sorry. Name provider. I renamed it this way here. This implementation is better because it will take the DNS get host name, which is the recommended way of doing that, and also the process, just for unicity, in case two different instances run on the same machine. So it's not really a machine name, but it's a unique Orchard running instance, host name plus process ID.
That's good.
Okay, so this is better actually.
So should we use this abstraction then for the task base as well?
You can use you can use this implementation, but keep the name machine name provider. This will be fine.
Why is this an Orchard host?
Host, machine, same thing.
Yeah, but we have an iOrchard host already. Why is it not there? Or iOrchard or Orchard environment?
Orchard environment is where I put it actually when I moved the other one.
Yeah, I don't see why we need an iHost name provider if we've already got.
That's what I'm saying. We will have one, and this is just for the name. And this way we can re-implement that in other modules. You could say, "Oh, my module will take the name of the machine somewhere else."
Yeah. So you're saying to get rid of this host name provider and replace it with the other one?
Yep.
But add this
implementation.
provider.
Yes, use this implementation.
Okay.
So it's no more a community project, it's an iDeliverable project, Orchard, between Sipke and Daniel. Added missing projects to Azure SLN, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Fortunately, you are here to ensure that Azure cloud services still work with Orchard.
I think I'm the only one still using them.
Maybe.
Except for Lombic.
Maybe.
We have migrated to Umbraco. It's a much nicer project actually. There is no Sebastian, for example.
Oh, I'm sure there are other assholes in Umbraco, if that's what you meant. Every project needs its asshole, okay? I am the asshole, and I spare you because if I were not here, you might be the asshole actually. So be thankful for that.
I live in a constant fear that one day I will be the asshole.
You're the asshole of the forums, Sultan. Sebastian is the asshole of the meetings.
And I would have expected Bertrand to say we are all the asshole of someone else. And by the way, Sean, my name is spelled like this, okay? You can fix it. Okay, status done. .NET Foundation. Okay. This might have been news for most of you, I assume for everyone, but the committee. But the committee and the ones that some of the committee members told to. I have no idea. I didn't talk about it with anyone else than the committee members. So this is something that happened. The committee was aware and voted on that and decided that. And we don't want to talk about it publicly. Oh yes, and by the way, everyone who went at the Harvest Conference knew about that because Scott Hunter mentioned that during the Harvest Conference. If you didn't listen to him, you might not have noticed. If you haven't noticed, then you should have listened to him because he mentioned that we will move to the netfoundation.org. And so what points did I say that we should talk about? Some things. Agreement, just 1G. Yeah, the changes. What will change? What won't change? Why is it better? Why is it worse? I will maybe...
So this is instead Outercurve Foundation?
No. Ilan, do you want to talk or can't you talk? Do you want me to do the talking and you will just correct me? I'll talk then. We were approached by the .NET Foundation just to move to them, and we were also thinking it would be better to follow the .NET movement, to be under the same .NET Foundation. The goal of the .NET Foundation being to be the umbrella for all .NET open source projects, whether or not developed by Microsoft. This is why you can see in the projects here Entity Framework, for instance, but you can also see Umbraco, Sisal, that we love, Kudu from Microsoft. You see, it's a bunch of everything, Microsoft or not Microsoft. The goal being ready to push .NET as an open source ecosystem. And this is also why it was announced at the same time almost as the new open sourcing thing of everything .NET, you know, .NET Core, .NET in general. What does it change for us? Some more work to do because we have to migrate lots of assets. Some legal stuff because we have to sign new CLAs. You were not allowed to have signed it before. I have a list, so that's not a big task to do. We have some website reference to change. Practically nothing, I would say. You will still do the same work. It's just that everything we do is now owned by .NETFoundation.org. And .NET Foundation and Outercurve have agreements to move all the IP to .NET Foundation. So they are handling the legal process for us. We have nothing to do. So that's the main issue. So CLA, do we need to add copyright notice to every file? I think we'll have to do so because they mentioned it at some point.
Are you serious?
Yes. That's very easy to do.
That's not a joke.
Why would it be a joke?
No, seriously, it's. I always find it very distracting if every source file, every 5 lines or 10 or 50 lines of the source file is something that's copied all over the place.
Legal?
But then we have to change legal. So when it's about source files, it's not about legal, but about developers, and this is something is what's very nerving for me in some projects.
This will be very easy to do, and this is not critical. We can fix your stuff if you forget about it. Look at any project from Microsoft, even if it was owned by MS OpenText, you will find the first 2 lines. It's just 2 lines, okay? It's not the full stuff like in Apache project you might find there are 20 lines of it. No, it's just 2 lines, or maybe 1 line, something like this. So I still need to check if we have to, but I think we'll have to. Yeah. So this leads to new elections, because we actually didn't talk about elections because of that. We wanted it to be done so that the new terms are all done under the .NET Foundation. So we will be able to talk about the elections today and set up new ones. We are late by 1 or 2 months from last year. I understand you don't like it. I will raise the issue, but I think we'll have to. Any other question? Something I'm missing? Concerns?
Yeah, somebody also brought it up on the chat window, but actually, who made the decision here?
The committee? Aren't you part of the committee?
No.
So you didn't vote? The committee is here and voted not publicly. We talked about it and we all agreed, so...
I'm not sure that voting about such a crucial change in secret is something that's great in an open source project.
I could agree, but we had to not talk about it for the reasons, PR reasons.
To be honest, I'm not against this change, but I'm astonished that this in secret.
Right, this is the first time we did that. I agree, but yeah.
And
we were asked not to talk about it.
It has a very bad optic, in my opinion.
This was also for communication reasons. We wanted to not that the announcement be done by the .NET Foundation alone. We will also know the agenda and yeah.
But Bertrand, who forced the decision?
He says that we were asked not to talk publicly about it. And I think by both sides, by Outercurve and by .NET Foundation, that's it.
Okay, but was this a change that was, I don't know, inevitable, or was it a choice? Because if it was a choice, then there was no pressure.
It was a choice, but because we agreed, they asked us, then don't talk about it.
So the intention was that you wanted to announce Outercurve alongside with the .NET Foundation with every other project, right? So you didn't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks to make this announcement and decision, I guess.
And they wanted to announce it publicly with all the projects at the same time.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
For PR reasons, for communication reasons, for marketing reasons.
Okay, I think that this should be the last occasion of such a change or such a decision that was made in such a way, and very much connected is the topic that I don't think that the rights of the committee are defined anywhere, because indeed the committee was elected and is still elected, but I don't think it has the rights to do just anything, and I don't think that the principle of the project is that decisions should be made secretly. And again, I'm not against this change, but then
someone has to decide.
Yeah, the purpose of the committee is to decide on direction. I think that's written somewhere. on the homepage.
Piotr, let me remind you, you are in the committee and you also voted. And it was unanimous. We can't ask to be anonymous across you have been committee members have been elected to represent the members of the project. So that's why we are here to vote on this kind of stuff. And someone has to decide. And the committee is best positioned to decide. This is the goal of the committee, to decide for this kind of stuff. But yeah, fortunately, we don't change organization every year. Right now, it's every 5 years. We'll see in 5 years, or maybe next year, I don't know. But yes. I think people are paranoid that it's transparent. Now it's public. We've voted. We announce our vote, and that's the same thing. What was secret is that the decision has been already taken, but we can give our votes 5 out of 5. It was unanimous. So, public. Okay, let's talk about something else. Website. So if you have seen it, by the way, the website of the Net Foundation is Orchard. They also changed it for the announcement. Orchard. And it's using the layout module. This is why I mentioned last week that a new website will be published using the layout module. I don't know how to show it, but it is. Is there a way to know that? Oh, not on this page. This one. This is a projection element from the layout module. I don't even know if I... Oh, yes, we can, because the default implementation uses tables. That's it, Silke?
They could have done so. It's shape, so they could use tables. Although it seems, why would they use layouts to generate a table?
Oh no. Okay, maybe it's the projections layout. Okay, that's different. Okay, but the fact that it's using a layout, you see layout page. Yeah, this is why we know.
Oh, so they're using a layout page using the projections element?
Sorry?
Or is that the projections layout?
It's a projection element. It's a layout page with a projection element.
Cool.
Okay, that works. Elections. So let's talk about elections. We need an agenda. I assume like last year we will give a 2 weeks notice, something like this, if everyone agrees. We need to ensure it's not in a holiday or something, and it might be... No, it won't. I'm worried about Thanksgiving, but it should be fine. 2 weeks notice, and we need a secretary to get the anonymous votes. We need some how do you say that? Nominees? How do you say that? Secretary. How do you call the people who want to join the election? Candidates. We need candidates. Thank you. I could not find the word. Candidates. So for that, I assume last year and the year before, we used a forum thread to let people explain who they are and their goal for the election and the year. One being that they want to go back to Outercurve from thread. We'll set up one. Nominees, candidates. I know, yeah. You have two candidates. Anything else related to that? Okay, so we also need a forum thread. Talk about .NET Foundation, so that Zoltan can express his ideas and grab all the comments from everyone. Not okay. You can talk about it on the forum publicly. So.
And regarding the elections, last year it wasn't clearly defined who can be a candidate. So I suggest that currently it should be defined well, or at least including the changes that were made last year after the election started.
So who can be a candidate?
Well, after the changes, as far as I understood, last year, candidates can be persons or people.
Oh, we talked about it. Yeah, you mentioned that.
And not legal entities.
So what did we decide? I think it was okay, no? Was it? I think so. You mentioned that. I agree.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
We decided it was individuals. Now, an individual could be a representative of a company or be part of a company, but they were individuals.
I don't even remember what we voted. Such a shame. So does it answer your question?
Yeah, it was no question. I just wanted to say that this should be now clearly expressed, as opposed to last year's elections when it wasn't.
Oh, because you okay. This year there won't be any issues. Okay, I see. Otherwise, anyone can be candidate, even if we don't know them. I assume so. We candidates, secretary. So is the schedule right? If we are 18th of November, we start the process, we create the forum, we say that the vote will go in 2 weeks, but we need the candidates. Should we have all the candidatures gathered in before we give 2 weeks notice, or we should have 1 week or 2 weeks for candidates to apply, then at least 1 week notice? I think that's what we did before. We should have it in a document to explain the process, or maybe we have, and I don't know. So candidates, how long do we have for candidates to apply? 2 weeks, I assume, will be good, because 1 week is too short. Maybe people are on vacation. So 2 weeks, which means, well, nobody's saying 2 weeks, which means 18 Tuesday 2nd December. So 2 weeks December 2nd for candidates, okay, on the forum thread that we will open for that. Then candidates are closed on December 2nd. Do we keep 1 week before we start the vote, or do we vote as soon as the candidates are closed? Assume it's the same as giving 2 weeks to vote. Then for the votes, I think we also changed something last year that we didn't like. About how many votes can we get?
One per person, rather than over one person.
What did we decide? I don't remember. This is what we decided last year.
It was one per one. It was you have 5 votes, and you can
one per person
vote on a single person rather than all 5 of your votes on a single person.
Okay, but we still have 5 votes.
Correct. Up to 5 votes.
Okay, but you can't give 5 to one guy. And I think it was already the case last year. We already changed that because it was weird. Okay, so 5 votes, 1 maximum per candidate.
And it was stated last year that you can vote if you have some sort of activity in the community based on issues and discussion forums.
Voters. 5 votes. Any activity on the forums, the work items, pull request. What else? Code. Maybe you just code and you are not active on code contributions. Am I missing something? And starting which date? Today or when? Yeah, I would say today because this is when we call for the elections and the candidates can submit. What did I miss here? Adrian, you were the secretary last year, or it was Brett? I don't remember. Ilan.
Yes.
Do you have any activity on the forum, the work items, the pull requests, or code contributions?
No, which is why I find it very interesting on how you define a contributor to the community, which is also the community's problem, which I've been discussing for the last couple of years.
Joining or going to harvest.
Yes.
Or because we don't want to lose anyone, we don't want to be. We need some limits, okay? Going to harvest. One could say, yeah, I built a website on Orchard. I want to be part of the community.
Attending the meetings? Sean said attend the meetings?
The issue with attending the meetings is that we can hardly prove that. Yeah. I mean, so someone could say, I attended the meetings. I watched it on YouTube. So
okay.
This I think we can't do. Yes, so as every year, we'll send the anonymous votes to someone which will disclose a grid, a number representing someone and not who this someone is. Starting today, if you haven't participated or been to an harvest event, so the harvest event is mostly for Ilan, but not only, for all the people who joined the harvest and want to vote. So who can we use for anonymous as a recipient for the anonymous vote? Who wants to be that? Someone who is not a candidate, by the way. What did I miss?
Apparently, everybody's looking at me.
We could ask Adrian, but maybe Adrian wants to be wants to be a candidate.
No, I don't think I do.
What?
No, it's too much pressure.
So can we ask you to be the recipient of the secret votes?
Sure, I'll do that.
Thank you. Where did I put that? And can we trust you? You did that last year, no? Who did that last year?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Who did that? It was Brett last year or Antoine? I can't remember. Brett, okay. We could ask Brett. Now he's more independent than ever. He's not here. Brett, okay. So Adrian. So that voters can because when we give back a random number to someone who voted anonymously, they can then check their number on when we make the votes public, so that their number corresponds to the votes which were taken into account, and they can complain. Is there a way to prove that? I'm not sure there is a way to prove that all the anonymous votes were actually actual votes from non-fake anonymous votes, because Adrian could rig the vote and by creating fake anonymous votes. How do we handle that?
Civilian oversight.
Which means someone else has to check what you're doing. Anonymous votes. Adrian. So the votes are public because just to answer Ilan's question, the votes are public. You vote publicly on the forum, and anonymous is just kind of anonymous. You send an email to Adrian because we trust him, and he gives you a number, records the vote as a random number, and it will show publicly what the vote is.
Well, we could do it just like after the fact check, I guess.
Yes, that's what you do. That's also another topic, which is, should we actually send all the votes to Adrian, even if they are not anonymous, so that the vote is kind of private until the end of the vote? Because I could say, I'm waiting for the last day to vote and see what's the current result, and not vote or change my vote based on the trend.
That's actually a good idea, I think.
Bertrand is our expert on this topic. Ilan also votes +1. Should we ask for a committee vote for that? Yes, but all the votes should be published then. Yes, they will be published. But when you send an email to Adrian, sorry, Adrian, you say if you want your vote to be anonymous or not, so that when the results are published, then we can hide or not the names. Cool.
Yeah, that'd be easiest, because then I think a couple years ago when I did it, we're going back and forth between the conversation and emails.
So yeah, okay, maybe then an email should be fine. Maybe we could just set up a very small Office 365 form, or the Google one, just so that we can vote and type our name, our identifier on Codeplex. It will be a big table for Adrian, and he can delete all the names of the people who want to be anonymous. Maybe we just want all the votes anonymous. And if you want to say publicly what you voted for, then you can go public. Might be even easier. Yes,
yeah,
Bertrand. Yes, Bertrand. Zoltán, go.
If you are you talking about voting anonymously or announcing the votes with the voters being anonymous?
When we announce the voter is anonymous, yeah. When you send I see what. No, yeah.
Because voting anonymously is not really possible if you want to if you want to prevent somebody voting multiple times.
No, you always, yes. We all understand that. We need to validate also. We need to verify that you actually voted for that. So even if we had to create a form, we will have to send an email back to the user mentioning you voted that and is that really you? Because I could go on the form and say I'm the user foo63, which is actually a Codeplex user, and so we need a way to check that you own the foo63 account on Codeplex, for instance.
So I do like a public Google sheet with a GUID.
So the Google Sheet will not be public. It will be yours and yours only, because there will be all the information. And when it's public, it has to be trimmed out from all the names.
Well, no, I was thinking for the votes, would just have the GUID and the votes, and then I'd have a separate sheet that would have the GUID corresponding to a person.
Yep.
And that way everybody can see what their votes got put down as to double check.
No, when someone votes, you have a GUID, which you send back to the voter.
Right.
So, and on the public list, there will be the GUID, so he can check his vote is fine.
Yep.
The only process being we need to validate. Okay, so voters. Today, okay. What? Anyone with the wheel? Yes. So, so we need someone to check that Adrian is doing his job benevolently. On top of that, who wants to be? So we need to design someone, because maybe Adrian already rigged directions by asking someone to check on him. Even so, stupid idea. Will the committee? No, that's very bad. We should not, or we maybe should check at the end. No. Who can do that? Brett. Could we ask Brett to look over Adrian, because we all trust him. He's not part of. He's not an active member of the committee anymore. I'm not even sure he can vote this year. He didn't go to the. Oh, by the way, good question. Any activity on the forum work items to request contribution when? Ever? Or this year? Benetech says this year. That's a good. So, because take Brett, for instance, into account. Brett didn't create any. Let's say Brett didn't create any. I think he created, actually. Let's say Brett didn't create anything this year. Could he vote or not? And let's say Brett got his pull request committed 2 months ago, which is actually the case. No, I think it's active contribution because we could say, hey, I commented on someone who created a task 2 years ago. And okay, so this will be for the last year. Okay. So, okay. I think that's good. See you, George. So we still need someone. We'll ask Brett, okay? We'll ask Brett if he can review to monitor Adrian. Okay. Am I missing anything? I think we are pretty good. We answered the questions. Zoltan, any more questions? You always have good questions.
That's flattering, but not this time, thanks.
Sean also has good questions. Weird questions, which are usually good. Bribes, yeah. Brett can pay you in bitcoins if you want. Okay, no more questions, no more comments, complaints. Oh, QT1 is here. He's joined. We talked about you. Baruch. Okay, ask your question. You can talk if you want.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Oh, hi. I'm trying to set up a community in Israel.
Oh, that's you.
Sorry about that, yes. And I'm trying to, how do I get the link back to my site?
You mean here?
In the Orchard side, there are links to communities.
We just
write me an email, for example. I'm Zoltan. I will put my email into the chat window because it's me and Benedek mostly who update the content on the website. And the last few times I've added new links.
Okay, great.
Just because I'm the asshole of the community?
Is your site RTL?
Yes, that's a good question.
Yes.
Nick, I was about to mention that. Did you see what Nick did on one.x branch for the RTL and...
No, not yet, no. I just played with the CSS and it was like three lines of code, so it's not a big deal.
Awesome. I had someone from. I actually there's a girl in Israel who works on Orchard quite a lot. So once your site's up, I'll send her a link.
So what's your URL?
It's orchardproject.org.il. That was easy.
I don't want to enter any political matter. I just copy-pasted Iran and changed it in Israel. That's closing the parenthesis. Orchardproject.org.il, that should fine. Because Orchard is very easy to manage the content from. So it should be, it should work with some luck. Take that, Zoltan. Oh.
You are an asshole.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think we missed a bunch of subjects. I will create the forum threads that we are talking about for candidates and also for the new vote. It will be the same actually, explaining how to vote, all the constraints. Zoltan will open a front thread to talk about the .NET Foundation and raise all the issues he has with the process we used. and also use that as propaganda for his own nomination. I know you will.
won't be a candidate.
No, East countries are very good at revolutions right now, so go on.
Yours as well.
We support you. And that's it. Next week we'll talk about the stuff we couldn't talk about today. Sorry for the guys who had some demos, but they will be better next week. Action done.
Are you able to talk later, Sebastian? I want to show you something.
5 minutes. I'm very busy right now.
Oh,
These days, sorry, but it will be always like this. So yeah, yep. And we'll talk about it also next week. Great. Anything else?
Yeah, Sebastian, if you create the forum topics, please place the URLs to Skype to me, so I'll include them in the meeting notes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Last comment from Bertrand. Okay, just to mention that, because so this tweet, CMS Critic elected Orchard best small to mid-sized business net CMS, and I forced myself to talk about it because I actually never got any correct answer to why were we nominated for this specific case and not another one, or not other CMSs on this one, for instance, and it's completely not explicit, so it's just marketing B something. But we won, okay? Again, thanks for the community who voted for us. So we won this section. I'd like to win all the sections. Right, and by the way, yeah, it doesn't mean much. That's why I don't really like to advertise on that. I didn't even retweet that. So what did I want to say? Yeah, and I found some tweets to the guy who published that from other CMSs who actually asked, "Hey, why aren't we in this list?" You know what I mean? So it's really weird way of selecting which CMS can participate in every category. But yeah, that's good. Thanks everyone. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
See you on Thursday if you want to play with Google Hangouts again.
Bye, everyone.